Your brain has been solving a remarkably subtle problem every day since you first learned to speak, and it does so with such effortless precision that you have probably never noticed there was a problem to solve. Every time you hear phrases like a red gun, broken gun, or fake gun, your mind instantly understands them, draws the appropriate conclusions, and rejects the inappropriate ones. It performs these computations in a fraction of a second without conscious effort and without ever consulting a rulebook. Yet, describing exactly what your brain has just done turns out to be surprisingly difficult. Suppose I own one of each: a red gun, a broken gun, and a fake gun. How many guns do I own? Almost everyone gives the same answer, too. A red gun is obviously a gun, a broken gun is still a gun. A fake gun, however, is somehow not a gun at all. That answer feels so obvious that it hardly deserves discussion. But the ease with which we reach it conceals something extraordinary. Grammatically, these three expressions have exactly the same structure: an adjective followed by a noun. But your brain has treated one of those adjectives according to completely different logical rules. So the question is not whether your answer is correct, but how you knew it is. So let's begin with the kind of adjectives that behaves exactly as we expect. A red apple. If something is a red apple, then two independent statements must both be true. It is an apple and it is red. Neither statement depends on the other. They simply happen to describe the same object. So formal logic captures this with almost embarrassing simplicity. X is an apple and X is red. There's nothing mysterious about it. The adjective contributes one property, the noun contributes another, and together they identify the object. In mathematics, we would say that a red apple belongs to the intersection of two sets, the set of apples and the set of red things. If every adjective behaved like red, formal semantics would be an astonishingly short subject. Fortunately for linguists, and unfortunately for simplicity, they do not. Consider a skilled surgeon. Can we conclude that the person is a surgeon? Certainly. Can we conclude that the person is skilled, though? The answer is unexpectedly less clear. Skilled at what? Skilled at surgery? Almost certainly. At chess? Maybe. At painting? Well, we have no clue. So what has changed? The adjective red meant exactly the same thing, whether it describes an apple, a car, or a sunset. But skilled refuses to behave so blatantly. Its meaning depends on the noun beside it. A skilled surgeon and a skilled pianist are not skilled in the same way. The adjective has ceased to contribute an independent property. Instead, it borrows part of its meaning from the category it modifies. So the neat picture we began with has already begun to fracture. Now let's return to the phrase with which we began. A fake gun. Is it a gun? No. Not an usual gun. Not an unusual gun. Not a defective gun. It's not even a very poor gun. It's simply not a gun. And that is an astonishing fact, because until now every adjective merely narrowed the category. A red apple remained an apple, a broken gun remained a gun. The adjective added information, but it never questioned the noun itself. Fake does something entirely different. It tells us that the object resembles a gun, perhaps imitates one convincingly, or maybe even fools people into believing that it is one, but it simultaneously tells us that the object does not belong to the category named by the noun. A fake gun is not a peculiar kind of gun. It is a peculiar kind of not gun. And grammar gave us no warning that this would happen. The sentence has exactly the same structure as a red gun. Yet one adjective merely contributes a property, while the other withdraws the object from the category altogether. Now your brain notices this instantly. Most of us never notice that we've noticed it, though. And then there is former. A former president is not a president, but unlike a fake gun, a former president once genuinely belonged to the category. The adjective is no longer describing what the object is, but describing its history. The present has become inseparable from the past. Now let's take another word. An alleged criminal may not be a criminal at all. The adjective tells us something, but not about reality itself. It's about someone's claim concerning reality. Then there are phrases like imaginary friend, possible solution, or fictional detective. Each follows the same grammatical pattern, but they obey different semantic rules. The grammar remains almost perfectly uniform, but the logic changes completely. So, to a school grammar book, these are all simply adjectives. But to formal semantics, they are entirely different kinds of logical operation. There are some adjectives that add information, but some depend on context, and some remove an object from the category named by the noun. And others force us to evaluate the noun across time, possibility, belief, or imagination. And the grammar never hinted that these distinctions existed. Meaning had been doing the hard work all along. Perhaps the most remarkable part of the story is not that linguists eventually discovered these distinctions, it is that every fluent speaker already possesses them. Even a 5-year old knows that a fake gun is not a gun, that a former president is no longer a president, and that a skilled surgeon need not be skilled at everything. Long before we learn what a predicate is or what semantics means, our minds are already carrying out these extraordinarily subtle computations. We tend to imagine that language is little more than vocabulary arranged according to grammatical rules. But grammar only tells us where words may stand. The real complexity lies elsewhere. It is this invisible machinery that combines meanings effortlessly and with such astonishing precision. So, the next time someone tells you that adjectives simply describe nouns, remember the fake gun. That single phrase is enough to reveal that beneath ordinary English lies a logical system far richer than grammar ever lets on. Thank you.